Judges chapter 20. Get your Bibles open there. Amber, you got a Bible somewhere? And then Shobi lesson 79. All right, so lesson 79. Title is The War with Benjamin. And we'll start reading from Judges. If you remember, we left off last lesson with the sin of the people of Gibeah and the Levite who was there at Gibeah. He took his wife, his concubine, he cut her up into 12 pieces and mailed her, sent her to each of the 12 tribes so that they could learn, they could see their sin. Okay. You can probably imagine that at this time, as we begin to study, before we get into each specific judge, we see how great the sin and iniquity of the people are. There's probably just a small remnant of God's church, God's faithful people who are left, and the rest have fallen into sin. So, we will see here, take a look at a civil war and some preparation. So Judges chapter 20, we start at verse 8. And all the people arose as one man, saying, We will not any of us go to his tent, neither will any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it, and we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000 to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men throughout all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What wickedness is this that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away the evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. We'll stop there a second. After receiving whatever portion of the body of that woman from the Levites, each nation or tribe was horrified at the sin, disgusted, and they wanted to do something about it. It says they did it as one man. They rose together. They were of one mind. They agreed, we must go to the city of Gibeah and destroy it. We must punish them for their wickedness. Okay? In that, they cast lots. Not all the men would go, but a portion of the men. 10 out of every 100. So that would be 100 out of every 1,000, or 1,000 out of every 10,000. They would go. They would get supplies, food and drink to take with them. Now, out of the 12 tribes, one tribe was missing. It was the tribe of Benjamin. Because it was in the land of Benjamin that the town of Gibeah was located. Micah, if you can get the door quick for us there. Benjamin refused. It says, though, it's their own people, they don't want to destroy or punish their own people. So the people of Benjamin, the Benjamites, they sided with the people of Gibeah. We will not join in and destroy them. Well, this is going to cause trouble this is going to cause strife among the nations. Okay? So you have a huge army, you could say, of the 11 tribes are far outnumber the small numbers of the men of Benjamin. Greatly outnumbered. Not a wise decision. The Benjamites should have turned over the men of Gibeah for their just punishment. Now Israel, before they went into battle, they were wise, and they sought the advice of the Lord. They got the Lord's permission to go. Where did they go to do that? Well, they went to Shiloh. Remember, that's where the tabernacle was. And there they prayed to God and asked for permission. Let us go. Which tribe should lead us, Lord, in battle? And God even answered them and said, Judah. Well, in the first battle, what was amazing is the small army of the tribe of Benjamin, they won. They defeated Israel. They killed 22,000 Israelites in that battle. Now, imagine the Israelites going back to their camp, licking their wounds, carrying their dead ones. What has happened? God told us to go into battle. Why have we lost to our smaller brother Benjamin? They had the power. We've got the larger army. We feel confident. In fact, they felt they could still win again if they went into battle another time. And so again, they asked God if they should fight another battle against their brother Benjamin. And He told them, yes, go up against Benjamin a second time. So a second time, the Israelites go into battle against Benjamin. In the second battle, the Benjamites win again and kill another 18,000 men of Israel. A total of 40,000 men of Israel have died in 2 battles at the hand of the Benjamites. Why? What is going on? You can imagine in the minds of the Israelites, they had gone to the Lord. He told them they may go into battle. And yet they lost. We can reflect on that for our own selves and our own lives. Here is a group that God has told to go into battle, and yet they are losing. It seems as though bad things are happening to them, and the ungodly or the wicked, especially the people of Gibeah, who are being protected by their Benjamite brethren who should be punished, are winning. That's like today. It seems as though the world has everything. They have the riches and the wealth, and it seems as though we're tirelessly day in and day out working on this and that, and we hardly ever get ahead as Christians. In fact, we may even say we're persecuted in a sense. We may wonder, what is going on, Lord? How come my loved one has died? How come the person in my life that's important to me has cancer and won't live much longer? Those are difficult questions. Those are ones that are honest questions. And that is no different than the people of Israel here, probably going back to the Lord and saying, Lord, why are we losing? And being frustrated and discouraged. And so once again, where must we go in that situation? We go to the Lord because He is using those what we call bad situations. He is using them for our good. He will turn them for our good. And that's what the people of Judah are having Israel are having a hard time seeing here. They go back to the house of the Lord. They feast for a whole day and they offer burnt offerings and sacrifices. Take a look at verse 26. We'll pick it up there of chapter 20. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept and sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until even and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people, and kill, as at other times, in the highways, of one which goeth up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, They are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee, and draw them from the city unto the highways. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore, but they knew not the evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,000 and 100 men. All these drew the sword. So a sad and discouraged Israel prays to God. They offer burnt offerings and sacrifices to him, and then they ask again, Why, Lord? And God said, Here, listen here. Your heart is not proper. It is not right before me. You are trying to win by your own strength. You are not trusting in me. Those men of Gibeah, although you are here to punish them, you are also guilty of their sin, because you, Israel, are a wicked nation, and you are one nation, so that when one sins, all sin. Israel, you're quick to judge Gibeah. Remember what Jesus said? Don't cast the mote out of your brother's eye without taking the beam out of yours first. Israel, they're full of sin and wickedness. Many of these men here in battle on this day probably have idols back in their houses. They've worshipped idols. They've partied. They've enjoyed the pleasures. They too have failed to kick out the wicked men that live around them. They are not innocent. The Lord is teaching, look, you have lost for those reasons as well. Now are you sorry for those sins? Now you must come to me and ask for forgiveness of them, and I will give it to you. And so the people are sorrowful for their sins. And they wonder, Lord, should we stop fighting? Do you want us to, the word there is cease, or should we continue in battle? And that's where the Lord calls them and says, yes, I want you to go the third time. And here not only does God say, you can go to battle, but here he says, and I will give you a victory. When God says something, it will happen. And Israel can know that. So now they know, not only will they be allowed to go into battle, but they will also have the victory because of the Lord being on their side. So they go into battle. We read of them kind of similar to the city of Ai. They set up some type of ambush outside the city, and they begin to start the battle. Some of the men of Israel turn and run as though they are once again defeated and afraid of the men of Benjamin. But then once they are far away enough from the city of Gibeah, the hidden group of 10,000 men comes out, and they attack Gibeah and destroy it. They set the city on fire so that Israel now can turn around and turn their attention on punishing those of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. Now, what's amazing is how many men of Benjamin were left. Only 600 men of Benjamin were left. Very few. What's going to happen to the nation of Benjamin if there are only 600 of them left? Israel comes up with a plan. They're sad too. The other 11 tribes. Look, here's our brother Benjamin. We've almost wiped him out. He has nothing left. We've got 600 men here. We've wiped out the women and children. How are they going to have more children so that the tribe of Benjamin can continue on? What should we do? Well, the elders of Israel set out to fix this. They had their own plan. Once again, that's the whole idea of this of why we are introducing Judges this way rather than getting right into them. The abounding mindset of the people at that time was, I will do it my way. My way's good enough. I have my own theories. Let me do it. And I will do it however I like. That was the attitude. Well, here's the plan. Let's go get some wives. Let's go find some wives for these men of Benjamin for them to marry. So Israel sends 12,000 men to another city, Jabesh Gilead, and they go there to destroy that city and its people, except for the young women who could be wives. Take the young girls, capture them alive, do not destroy them, and we will take them and bring them to the land of Benjamin and give them to the 600 men there so that they may have wives. The soldiers came back from that battle. But they were only able to take alive 400 girls of Jabesh Gilead. They basically kidnapped them. They went in peace to the people of Benjamin. They brought those 400 girls there with them and gave them to the men of Benjamin for their wives. But they're 200 wives short. 200 men need wives yet. Well, how could they get them? Look at Judges chapter 21, starting at verse 12. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male, and they brought them unto the camp of Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, to call peaceably unto them. So there we have the 400. Okay? And then when we go to verse 16, then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for wives for them that remain? That's the 200. Seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin. And they said, there must be an inheritance for them that be escaped out of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin. So they couldn't use their own daughters out of their own tribes. Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh, yearly in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebanon. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. So that's their plan. They told the Benjamites, 200 of you, come to Shiloh. Hide in the vineyards. There will be a festival in Shiloh. And when the maidens come out to dance before the Lord, ask the fathers of the girls that they may be allowed to marry you. And take them back to your cities, have children, and may the nation of Benjamin grow once again. So this is how the tribe of Benjamin was saved. not the best way to have to find a wife, but it's the way that God provided for these men of Benjamin. So not only all of Israel, but Benjamin was punished too for the wickedness and the sins. Does it make the people turn their hearts around and leave off of their sins? Probably not, because we'll see that they need some judges to come and correct them and punish them for their sins. If we look at the last, verse of the book of Judges, Judges chapter 21, that's where we're at right now, and the last verse is verse 25. We once again come to the theme. What is the problem? Why is Israel living in so much sin? It's those last words. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. I don't need Jesus. I don't need God. I don't need God's word. I will do what I please. And there in that last verse, we are once again reminded, why do the people of Israel need these judges? Why do we study these judges? Well, they're profitable for us to study. They teach us, once again, how we should live towards the Lord. We also see how not to live in wickedness and sin. And so, we will begin to see the cycle. There will be a cycle that's going to happen over and over to the people in the land of Israel. Why do they need judges? Judges come for a time and then they fall away and die away, and then the people need them again. What is that cycle that happens over and over? But hopefully what we've seen in the introduction here in these few lessons is that the wickedness and sin of Israel abounded very quickly. And most of it came because the people wanted to do things their way. That's always a good reminder for us, a danger. Let us be careful not to do things our way, but to remember to do things God's way. What is the way that God has provided in the church? What has God taught us in the church about how to do things? And in that way, we will find a true blessing.